Mabo has sometimes been termed a contemporary factual drama. Producer Darren Dale says that the interrelationship and interplay with real events means that the film could use court records, political leaders' comments, and authentic news footage. Here, Rachel Perkins uses a montage of authentic footage which is interspersed with reenactment footage featuring the Mabo actors. The director has used colour filters so that the viewer does not easily notice the difference between the real footage and what has been artificially produced. This helps to emphasise the documentary aspects of the drama and remind the viewers that this is fact, not fiction, and a real part of Australian history.
We're here to stay. We're here to fight. Irrespective of what we may do, I don't care whether we would lay down our lives.
The man who says, "We are here to stay, we are here to fight, irrespective of what we may do, they don't care whether we would lay down our lives," is Pastor Don Brady, a Methodist pastor and Aboriginal leader. He was arrested during the march on May Day and charged with assaulting police. However, the footage used here was actually taken during a different protest 1 year later in 1972, where he encouraged young Queensland Aborigines and Torres Strait Islanders to protest at the Aboriginal Tent Embassy set up outside Parliament House, Canberra. In July that year, the board of the Brisbane Central Methodist Mission, which was reorganising the Christian Community Centre, asked for Brady's resignation. Following negotiations, he was released from responsibilities for spiritual care and in September was appointed to a new position subsidised by the Commonwealth Government as liaison officer looking after the physical, social and political welfare of Aboriginal people. A trend emerges here where you can see that people protesting very soon suffer prosecution and persecution at the hands of governing bodies, resulting in arrests and lost jobs. Activists were often aware of this, and therefore the fact that they stood up for their rights, regardless, is a testament to their determination.
I sincerely hope that those who have been plotting violence and disorder will understand that their intentions are known and that they will not be tolerated by the government.
After the clip of Queensland's Premier at the time, Joe Bjelke-Petersen, saying, "I sincerely hope that those who have been plotting violence and disorder will understand that their intentions are alone and that they will not be tolerated by the government," the choral soundtrack is faded out and replaced with a more ominous sound of violins. Joe Bjelke's words, "their intentions alone," are to illustrate the activists as being extremists and trying to minimise their efforts as not being indicative of the broader Aboriginal population. The footage also changes in nature to police clamping down on protesters, some slow motion emphasising the manhandling of the protesters. One Aboriginal man can be seen taking a swing at the police, but he is surrounded and outnumbered, suggesting they have little chance of success.
What do they say is wrong with you that they can't serve you?
Well, they just say we don't serve Aboriginal people. And they don't give you any reason. They say we don't serve Aboriginal people and that's it.
And are Aboriginals allowed to go into the theatre?
The interview clips with an Indigenous man and a young Australian woman seek to highlight again the discrimination in a way that seems senseless compared to modern-day standards. The comment, "They don't give you any reason, just say, we don't serve Aboriginal people and that's it," demonstrates how the white people accepted the reality as a norm without legitimate reasoning. The interviewer questioning the girl outside the theatre is an American reporter working for the ABC's This Day Tonight. In a national referendum in May 1967, Australians conferred power on the Commonwealth to make laws for Indigenous Australians. More than 90% of the country voted yes, while country areas, rural areas, recorded the highest level of opposition. The ABC's This Day Tonight analysed the results and went to the New South Wales North Coast town of Bowraville, where 80% voted no. As you can see, the archival footage used is not in chronological order with respects to the events in the film, but is utilised when it's most important for the viewer to understand the political and social machinations that have triggered the events.
Yes, they go in by that door over there.
And sit in a separate section.
Yes.
Perkins has gone to great efforts to match her actor's clothes in the 1971 May Day March to resemble the era. This recreated footage also includes Eddie Mabo's actual son, Eddie Mabo Jr., who you can see here walking alongside him as an extra. Many Mabo family members took part in the filming, further creating a sense of authenticity and ownership over what was being depicted. Gail Mabo, one of his daughters, plays the woman in the church scene who tells Benita a man is there to see her. And another daughter, Celuia, is also an extra in the church wedding scene at the beginning of the film. Benita Mabo is also an extra herself in the church scene at the very start of the film, and the little boy who plays Eddie Mabo Jr. as a young child drinking kerosene was Eddie's great-nephew, Lewis. Rachel Perkins herself also has personal ties to the film, as her father was an Indigenous activist who marched with Eddie on May Day and himself organised the Ride for Freedom campaign in 1965. The still frames as a concealed photographer takes photos links Eddie and his wife to the surrounding protest. You can see the presence of the Black Community School Bus, which is the school Eddie founded, and the fact that he is supported by his wife as they look at each other with pride and admiration. Despite this being a moment of accomplishment, the concealed nature of the photographer suggests that he is spying on Eddie's movements and collating evidence that links him to the events occurring. Later, Henry Reynolds confirms this to Eddie by saying, "Special Branch have got files on everyone who ever attended a demonstration in this state. They'll know every move you make and who you make it with." This suggests that both Eddie and Benita are at risk, as well as their entire community and everything that they have created together.